Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Just getting comfortable, getting used to what I'm doing, and going through all those positions that help me learn what other people do.
I'm very confident in the rest of the season. We're just this close. We're really, really close to being really, really good. It's just that one or two little things that we got to clean up.
You can't stop their fight, and that's a Spartan to me. That is a Spartan or a Spartan dog, however you want to say it. That is a Spartan right there, all the way through and through, how they're coming after it and attacking this season.
Having the bye last week gave everyone on Michigan State's roster a chance to relax and even process everything that has transpired over the last month within the football program. It also gave players like Dylan Tatum a chance to go home and see some family for a bit. The West Bloomfield native has always dreamed of donning the green and white, and last season as a true freshman, he saw some increased playing time due to injuries within the secondary. Well, this year he was primed for a much bigger role, and per our Haley Schoengart, it wasn't the only thing he was preparing for this summer.
Well, last year, Dylan, you kind of ping-ponged around into just about every single position in the secondary. How has it been having your feet planted in one position this season?
It's been a great job, just getting comfortable, getting used to what I'm doing, and going through all those positions that help me learn what other people do and how that would affect the other guy in the back end. So now I'm playing all one. I know what that safety's doing every time, so now we can help play off each other. And we can be a great defense all at once.
Well, and you didn't play defense in high school. You were actually a running back.
Yeah, I played a little defense.
Okay.
A little defense. I was an athlete coming out of high school, so they called me 4-star athlete. We don't talk about stars no more. But I was safety and running back in high school.
What made you want to fully switch to defense when you came to college?
It was really like a decision for the long run. Playing running back is not really great for health per se. But it's definitely where my heart is a little still, where I know I can go further playing defensive back, and you also get paid more if you make it.
You can still have the opportunity to find the end zone on defense, but do you miss getting to find the end zone a little bit more when you were running back?
A little bit, especially when I got here. I was like, maybe I could go both ways, who knows, but I think I'm in the right place, and I always told them, I was like, hey, if we're really down at running back, I'm always available, because, I just want to win.
Football wasn't the only sport you played in high school. You were a pretty good sprinter.
So both my parents ran track in college, and so my mom she's still a record holder at Northern Iowa, and she was All-American and all that stuff, all-conference. My dad was, a pretty good sprinter as well, but he was more so like the high school champ and everything. He went to Alabama State and ran down there, and it's really just a family thing. My uncle, Kenny Shedd, top tier speed, 4.3 40 for sure. Coach Jay Johnson was actually his quarterback at Northern Iowa, and Kurt Warner and everything. So the speed runs in the family, and it definitely carried on. I started in the 6th grade, and I was running with the high schoolers all through then. I was All-American freshman year, not sophomore year because of COVID, but those were good times. I was a little smaller, like weight size, but the real sprint is my little sister for sure. I want to make sure keeping the legacy and making sure I'm leading her the right way, because she's top nation, she's number 3 in the country as a sophomore now.
Yeah, did you ever consider running track in college?
I did, and then I gained I didn't really gain when I got here. I just gained the muscle mass, sort of. So trying to run what I was running at 175, 180 pounds, but now I'm 197. It's not going to really translate as much, but it's definitely still a possibility. My mom always goes, I can see you on the track doing I see you. So she's always trying to persuade me, but I'm like, well, Mom, this is my spot right here.
Over the summer, you went on the Big Ten Life Series, Selma to Montgomery.
You need the wisdom of the elders to know where you have been and hopefully where you're going. But we also need the energy and knowledge of the young.
What was that experience like for you?
It was really mind-blowing and help open your imagination, because they explained it so well, and they had people that are around that situation there that went through it, and it's like a event where, say, they're 12 years old and they're marching on the Pettus Bridge, and they're doing this not even for themselves, they're doing this for their parents and the people that are coming after them in the future. So it makes you think hey, am I that brave? Can I do something like that? And it's just really like mind-blowing. So really, back in, let's say 7th or 8th grade, I went on one of those trips sort of like that, but not as in like detail. So I got to do this thing basically twice, be around, you know, people of color that's been through something like tragic, but fighting over things that's more than themselves. My grandparents were from down south in Mississippi, and my grandmother, she's like white passing, so my grandfather's black. And things, you would tell them a story of my grandfather had to be like the chauffeur for my grandmother just so they can get across and drive to work or anything like that, because if she sat in the front, they would think he's kidnapping her, and then it'd be a whole nother story, a whole nother difference. I might not even ever be here. I took the stories that I was told and put myself in this perspective where, dang, this really happened, or this happened right here, or my granddad was here when this happened. So it made me feel closer and more emotionally impacted on these type of situations that were going on.
When it comes to taking down a Rutgers team today who is averaging just under 30 points a game, the Spartans defense will lean heavily on Tatum as well as sixth-year linebacker Aaron Brule, who has dealt with plenty of adversity this past year. And when we come back, we're going to be sitting down with Brule.
This segment is sponsored by the Lansing Sports Commission.
As we go to break, Farm Bureau Insurance invites you to register to win an exclusive private dinner with head coach Tom Izzo. Go to InsideTheGreensweeps.com to register.
They say you shouldn't. You wouldn't dare. They say you're not strong enough. Don't have the drive. Lack the inspiration. The world is full of people who will tell you what you can't do. Just say 2 words. I will. There are no small dreams. Begin with an idea. Start now. Dream big with MSU FCU. Federally insured by NCUA.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
As a 6th-year senior, Aaron Brule has seen just about everything on the football field. But over the last year, he has had to cope with life's hardest realities off the field, from the death of a former coach to seeing one of his childhood friends be diagnosed with cancer. Our Tyler Driesinga has more on the perspective Brule has gained through this tragedy.
Aaron Brule grew up in the West Bank of New Orleans and developed a passion for football through watching his older brother.
He would have park ball games and things like that. I'd be on the sidelines just really in a full uniform. I would be like 3 or 4 years old, but I'd be full uniformed up, just running after him up and down the sidelines when he'd be running on the field.
Brule says his entire family has always supported him, and he speaks especially admirably of his grandparents, Consuelo and Chris Duplessis.
My grandpa served in Vietnam 4 years, and he did 4 years in Vietnam. My grandmother did 25 years in the Air Force. I don't know if I'm like a mama's boy, daddy's boy, if I'm a boy of anything, I feel like I am a grandma's boy. Her and my parents, they always get into it because she tends to be the more babying of them both. And she actually comes to a good bit of the games and things like that. And I guess, lean toward her because she's just shown that she can do anything.
How has their military experience shaped the atmosphere that you grew up in and the person that you've become?
I think that if I wasn't playing football, or even if football was to end earlier for me, I think you have like until you're like 27 or 28 to enlist or something like that. I actually would definitely give it a great thought to join the military. And I've always said if I didn't play football, I would go to the military or something like that. So it's definitely something that weighs heavy on my mind all the time, and I support people within that realm of life.
Brule's tough-nosed upbringing shows up in his style of play. But in the last calendar year, the hard-hitting linebacker has also had to tackle a host of emotional challenges off the field.
I actually don't really have time to feel sorry for myself, so because there's also other people grieving, obviously, in these situations, and I always just say that if I got it bad, somebody else obviously probably has it worse.
Brule began his collegiate career at Mississippi State in 2018. 2 years later, one of college football's most colorful characters made his way to Starkville, head coach Mike Leach.
What did you enjoy about Coach Leach?
Oh my goodness. There's a lot of stuff that I could really harp on with Coach Leach, but I really like his realistic standpoint about everything. He didn't sugarcoat anything, but at the same time, it was just very random things that he would talk about. He loved multiple things. He loved people. You can have a 3-hour-long conversation about everything except football. So that was really nice to be able to piggyback off of things that he taught.
Brule played 2 years for Coach Leach before transferring to Michigan State. Last December, news came that shocked Brule and the college football world. Mike Leach had died suddenly due to complications from a heart condition.
I was here, and I didn't necessarily. I knew he had some sickness and things like that, but he's one of those guys that, like, if he's sick, he's still gonna pull through and do what he can. And when I did hear the news, I was like, wow, I couldn't really believe it at the time, but I was like, wow, he definitely left, knowing that he left the impact on every part of sports. Rather, it could be any sport. He talks about every sport. So I mean, I feel all across the nation, people really felt when he passed away, and he left everybody with a positive thought. There's nobody with negativity that you can really say about him in any way.
Brule says Leach's sudden passing gave him a new perspective on how fast things can change. It's a perspective that's been reinforced this fall through a tragic circumstance involving his childhood friend, Greg Brooks. Brooks, a safety at LSU, was a starter and team captain just over a month ago. But today, he's facing a long road to recovery after being diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer.
I actually grew up with him, and those things like that, I mean, he was playing, he played like 70 snaps versus Florida State, and they said he'd be going home and throwing up all over the floor and things like that. It seems like he's got a long road ahead, but I'm very confident in God and things that the people around him will get him through this.
Toughness through tragedy has defined the last calendar year for Aaron Brule. Through everything that's happened, he's held fast to a belief he's capable of overcoming anything, an approach to adversity that goes back to his upbringing.
Where does that mentality come from, that I can get through anything? Where does that mentality and that strength come from for you?
I guess being a little older and mature, that's one of them. And obviously it definitely comes from my family. My grandpa, grandma, all military. So they've always had like a pretty hard-nosed ability to take on tasks and things like that. And no excuses is really their motto. So my grandma is definitely a very soft person for her grandkids and stuff, but she also understands that life comes with lessons and things happen, and she's definitely there to maul you when you need to be mauled and help you and love on you when you need to be loved on. So yeah, I think that's where that comes from.
Brule says the outpouring of support for Coach Leach and Mississippi State meant the world to him, and believes Coach Leach will always be remembered for his extremely funny personality. Well, as for Michigan State's acting head coach Harlan Barnett, we're going to be sitting down with him to see how the bye week treated him this past week.
This segment is sponsored by MSU Healthcare.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Following Michigan State's loss to Iowa 2 weeks ago, interim head coach Harlan Barnett said the coaching staff would reevaluate the starting quarterback position during the bye week. Redshirt junior Noah Kim has started all 5 games for the Spartans this year, and during this 3-game losing streak, he has thrown just 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions, and it was something we discussed with Barnett in part 1 of our conversation this week. All right, well, Harlan, coming off of the bye week, how was it, a week off for you guys sort of to refresh?
It was really good for our guys. We gave them off, well, first of all, they had Sunday and Monday off, so to speak, after the game. And then we practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, had Friday, Saturday off, and Sunday was off, but they did a few things, and then back at it today. And they were good. They looked refreshed and ready to go.
What did it do for you two, sort of just kind of relax maybe for a day or two and just kind of take in what has happened over the last month here?
I did a lot, really one day, Saturday, because I went out recruiting on Friday. So Saturday had off and got a chance to hang out with my wife and watch a movie and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Football is always on the brain. I was watching football on Saturday as well.
Okay, any games that stood out on Saturday for you?
Nothing, nobody in particular. I was just flicking all over the place, to be honest with you, and just enjoying others having to coach up their players.
Clock runs, 15 seconds left for Kim. Another long one, picked off, undercut by Jamari Harris, and there's the nail in the coffin.
The quarterback position, I know that's something that you've been asked a lot throughout your press conference, obviously. I'm not going to ask you who the starter is going to be Saturday against Rutgers.
Appreciate it.
When you are evaluating that position, what do you guys look for in terms of just traits to lead a team and be able to win you guys some football games?
That's a great question. The traits you're looking for is somebody that can, go in there and actually lead. I mean, that's one of the main leaders on your team, on any football team, that can lead the guys trusting them, obviously, guys that can put us in the great positions to succeed and score touchdowns. So that's what you're looking for. And Noah came out of the camp being that guy for us. And like every position, we always are competing. No matter where you are, what position it is always a competitive thing for us. And we always say best players are going to play. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, with Noah, obviously he probably would like to be playing better right now, but what do you do to help him sort of gain some confidence back?
I told him a few things I can't share on camera, but that I think, you know, he could do, and I think he took heed to it, and so we'll see what happens.
Going into the Rutgers game, you guys are hoping to get back in the win column. 3 straight losses, obviously not ideal, but how badly do you guys want to get a win for these players?
Very badly. These guys keep working so hard, and with all the distractions and things that have been coming at them, they just keep coming, keep coming. Like I said, even today, the energy level was great. I just wanted it so bad for them. And so, you know, hopefully this weekend will be the weekend.
Has it in a way impressed you too with their ability to just keep coming back despite getting knocked down maybe a few times off the field, on the field as well?
Very impressive because their fight, you can't stop their fight. And that's a Spartan to me. That is a Spartan or a Spartan dog, however you want to say it. That is a Spartan right there all the way through and through how they're coming after it and attacking this season.
When you look back at the Iowa game, what were sort of the positive takeaways? Obviously you guys were in that game, you had a chance to win late. What were the positives that you think can help now going forward the rest of the way?
The positives, we led in time of possession for the second game in a row. We led in yards for the second game in a row on offense. On defense, we scored a touchdown, had another interception. Those are some of the things that we did well on defense and continue to build on.
This past Tuesday marked exactly 1 month since Barnett was named acting head coach of the Spartans football program. And when we come back, we're going to be sharing how Barnett is using his love for MSU to help the program off the field. We'll see you soon.
This segment is sponsored by Shoepad.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
With all the uncertainty surrounding Michigan State's football program, it leaves a lot of questions for the current players and coaches as well as the future players. 2 high school football players have decommitted since Mel Tucker was fired, and it is something we discussed with Barnett in part 2 of our chat this week. You mentioned that you went recruiting on Friday. What are some of those conversations like with guys that are committed or not committed yet, with everything going on and the uncertainty right now within the program?
Well, first of all, I love Michigan State, and so I just continue to sell Michigan State University. Regardless of who the coach is, it's a great place, and you can't pick a better place. And so that's where the focus is on recruiting.
Obviously, they probably have a lot of questions that they didn't have a month ago, but how do you sort of answer those with the uncertainty?
Well, you just say, you be honest. First of all, you say, we're not sure what's going to happen. But again, I am a Spartan. I love this place. You can't pick a better place. And so that's just keep selling the university more than anything. And then let's see what happens. Let's see how this thing plays out.
With the other coaches on the staff too, how have they really helped you in making this transition easier?
They've been great professionals. I love our coaching staff. They say anything you need, anything I can help you with and all that. And I say anything you can think of to help me with, help me, but they've been great, phenomenal. I love them, and they're doing a great job.
All this as acting head coach Harlan Barnett, a Michigan State alum, gets set to coach his 3rd game of the season. I spoke with wide receiver Christian Fitzpatrick, one of the team's leaders, about the headlines surrounding the program. He told me no one cares on Saturday game day what you went through. People want results, and we don't have time to mope around.
And when it comes to the players, is there a certain player that has maybe surprised you with their leadership and how it has improved since everything took place?
Well, I don't know if it's a surprise, but Trey Mosley is an outstanding leader. He's done a great job. So is Simeon Barrow. The guys that they voted, J.D. Duplain, those guys were voted captain, and I understand why. You know, the team respects them. They speak up, and they don't mind, leading. And so they're doing a great job. There's anything special that we're doing or changed up or anything like that. We have our routine. We have things that we do that they know to do, and it's a good routine. And so they're doing that and doing a great job at it.
Winston throws, that's caught, a slam by Christian Dremel. Dremel's off to the races. He won't be caught. Touchdown, Rutgers, 69 yards.
Going back to Rutgers, what is something that stands out about them that they do well that you guys are really going to have to hone in on?
Well, first of all, they're a well-coached team, and they protect the ball. They don't really turn the ball over. The quarterback is a good player, dynamic player, running and passing. Got a good run game, and their defense is stout. They play a quarter-style defense similar to old-school Michigan State defense, and they get in. They got about 9 guys up within 10 yards. They got like 10 guys or 11 guys all within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, and they're playing up close, in-your-face defense. Like we always do, I always point out, even before we went to Iowa, it's 11 on 11 football. So that doesn't change. It's the venue changes, but it's 11 on 11. So if you keep that focus, then everything else will work itself out.
Did you ever play against the Scarlet Knights when you were here?
Yes, we did actually one time. It's a bad memory, but yes. And then actually I was out. But I was on the team, but I was out with a foot injury. They came here and they beat us actually. Why did you bring that up?
I don't know, sorry. Awesome, well, appreciate the time, Harlan. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Ian, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, all right.
The game Barnett is referring to came back in 1988, which was the first time Michigan State and Rutgers played against one another. MSU leads this all-time series 10-4 and will go for its 11th win over the Scarlet Knights today at noon on the Big Ten Network. As always, thank you for tuning in to this week's show. We hope you enjoyed and have a great weekend.
This segment is sponsored by Spartan Dogs for Life.